ABC 10 News at 7 starts now.
We are just a day away from learning whether San Diego County will fall into the state's most restrictive tier of coronavirus restrictions. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains what dropping to that purple tier would mean for everything from where we eat to where we shop.
Literally, we're just like rolling with the punches as they come.
Joey Busalaki now refers to his Little Italy restaurant as Barbusa 4.0.
We've gone from moving walls, making temporary walls, doing whatever we can, and now we're going to be building a patio on our back area.
He may need that outdoor space more than ever. On Tuesday, the county could fall into the state's purple tier of coronavirus restrictions, its most restrictive, if the case rate remains above 7 per 100,000 people. That means restaurants like Barbusa would only be allowed to serve outside. Gyms would have to move outdoors too. Retail stores and indoor malls would be limited to 25% capacity, with food courts and common areas closed. Unlike with prior restrictions, personal care salons can operate indoors with limits. Movie theaters and places of worship can operate outdoors only. Outdoor playgrounds, which recently reopened, can stay open with capacity restrictions, while zoos, aquariums, and museums can operate outdoors only. The restrictions would come without a new round of stimulus to help local businesses.
And it's sustainable for a few months at a time. But if you start talking about 12, 18 months of this, you're going to see hundreds and hundreds of restaurants and bars go out of business.
And a county spokesman tells me if the region does fall into the state's purple tier, the new round of restrictions would take effect at 12:01 a.m. on Saturday. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
And the pandemic is continuing to take a toll on our job market. Our county's unemployment rate is at 9%, with more than 115,000 San Diegans out of work.
And here are the latest numbers. The county announced 401 new cases today, bringing our total to 60,500. No new deaths were reported today, which is typical for a Monday. That number stands at 908. As you saw on ABC's World News Tonight, Pfizer announced today its trial vaccine for COVID-19 has been found to be 90% effective in preventing the virus. ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala explains why researchers say this could be great news for other vaccine trials as well.
I think this is frankly the break we've all been waiting for.
After Pfizer announced early data showing its vaccine is more than 90% effective in protecting trial participants, many doctors and scientists are optimistic. This could be a huge step forward in the fight against the coronavirus.
I think it's an incredibly wonderful day for science and medicine.
While UCSD is not participating in Pfizer's trial, it is taking part in 3 other phase 3 studies: Moderna, AstraZeneca, and Janssen. UCSD's Dr. Susan Little leads 2 of those trials that resumed in San Diego County just last week. She says this type of data could mean more positive results are on the way.
And I think what this means for these trials, for frankly all of the trials that are available at this stage, this is incredibly good news because so far they all use the same approach to vaccine development. They are all targeting the same protein, the spike protein, on the coronavirus.
Pfizer says it plans to seek emergency use authorization from the FDA by the 3rd week of November. Dr. Fauci weighing in on the early analysis.
The efficacy of the Pfizer mRNA candidate is over 90%. Which is just extraordinary and is going to have a major impact on everything that we do with regard to COVID. Moderna is an mRNA candidate, which we would expect would have similar results.
Pfizer CEO says he hopes other vaccines will also be successful to meet the global demand. Based on current projections, Pfizer expects to produce 50 million vaccine doses globally in 2020 and up to 1.3 billion in 2021. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
And we should learn more about the FDA and Pfizer's vaccine in the coming weeks. Pfizer's CEO says once available, he expects the vaccine to be free for all Americans. And the FDA announced this afternoon that it's issued an emergency use authorization for Eli Lilly's antibody therapy, which is used to treat mild to moderate cases of coronavirus. It's targeted for people at high risk of their cases becoming more severe.
Your voice, your door votes, San Diego has a new mayor today. Barbara Bree announced that she has conceded to Todd Gloria. Bree says that she called Gloria yesterday to congratulate him on winning that race. She says the job he faces won't be easy.
I urge all of us to understand the challenges and difficult choices ahead that Mr. Gloria and the City Council must make, and that all San Diegans should be at the table to make them.
In a statement, Gloria said, quote, "I want to thank Councilmember Bree for her service to our city, and I wish her and her family well. It is time to put the campaign behind us and come together as San Diegans to resolve the many challenges we face." Votes are still being counted, but Gloria does lead by thousands of votes. In the meantime, the race for the District 2 seat on the County Board of Supervisors is getting even tighter. After today's update, Steve Voss leads Joel Anderson by about 111 votes. Both men are Republicans, so the outcome of this race will not impact the balance of power on the board. The next vote will be tomorrow after 5 p.m. And for a complete look at the election results and updated totals, go to 10news.com and check out our Election 2020 section.
An arsonist who set several fires in Chula Vista is facing 32 months in prison. In September, police arrested transient Alejandro Gonzalez walking away from a fire in the river bottom. Today, he pleaded guilty to arson. Gonzalez was arrested with several lighters in his possession, and police say he admitted to intentionally setting at least 4 brush fires this year. He's scheduled to be sentenced in January. Tomorrow, the health care for millions of people goes before the Supreme Court. The justices will hear arguments on whether to throw out the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. As our Jeff Lasky reports, California is leading the effort to save the law.
It's one of the biggest cases the Supreme Court will hear all year. The last effort by the Trump administration to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, before the Biden administration takes over.
At stake tomorrow are not just details or differences of opinion or numbers on a paper. At stake are people, their health, their livelihood.
Today, California Attorney General Javier Becerra laid out the stakes for the court's decision. Becerra is leading 20 states in the effort to defend the ACA. Texas and 17 other states are spearheading the effort to get rid of it, backed by the Trump administration. Now let's remember what the law does. The ACA expanded Medicaid to give insurance to tens of millions of people who didn't have it. It created competitive marketplaces with subsidies to help Americans buy insurance. And there were other provisions too, like preventing insurance companies from denying you coverage for a pre-existing condition. The law paid for much of that with the individual mandate. You had to buy insurance or pay a fine. In a previous case, the court upheld the law, saying Congress has the right to create taxes like the mandate. But in President Trump's 2017 tax cut law, the Republican Congress voted to make that penalty nothing.
If you don't pay any penalty in dollars, zero penalty, what's your harm?
That's the short version of Becerra's argument to keep the ACA. But Republicans argue that since Congress made the mandate cost zero, it's not really a tax anymore. Therefore, the court has no reason not to find the whole law unconstitutional. A new wrinkle in this case is the makeup of the court. There are 3 new justices, including the newly sworn-in Amy Coney Barrett. Despite the more conservative court, Becerra is confident.
We've been here and we've done this twice before and survived. We think there's a very strong chance that Americans will continue to have good health care coverage.
Jeff Lasky, ABC 10 News.
And while the Trump administration wants the whole law thrown out, there is a third option besides keeping it or getting rid of it. The judges could strike down that individual mandate but keep the rest of the ACA. The court has until June to make its ruling.
San Diego police are looking for the person who shined a laser pointer at a Coast Guard boat off Ocean Beach. It happened Friday evening just after 6:30. The Coast Guard says a crew member's eyes were damaged by the beam, but we don't know if that injury is temporary or permanent. Police checked the OB pier for witnesses, but couldn't find the person responsible. If caught, they could face prison time.
This weekend's rains have brought a familiar closure in the South Bay. Sewage-contaminated water from the Tijuana River has drifted north, so water contamination warning signs are up at beaches from the border to Seacoast Drive and Imperial Beach. And the signs will stay up until testing shows the water is once again safe for swimming and surfing.
A section of Mission Bay is getting a facelift. Today, the newly transformed playground at Bonita Cove reopened. It's named after Maruta Gardner, a community leader killed by an impaired driver 4 years ago while she was painting over graffiti. Besides the playground, there is also a new comfort station, shade structure, enhanced lighting, and sidewalks that comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act.